And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Welcome to episode 149 of the Constitutionals Podcast. This is the Corona Cast. It's very disrespectful. People have died from this disease, and we're sitting here making jokes about the coronavirus. I'm not old enough to remember the SARS epidemic. So I don't know if this is how I remember SARS jokes. I remember tons of SARS jokes as I was blossoming into my comedy enjoyment phase. I remember the jokes about SARS, but I don't remember. I wonder if you can hear my television in the main room. I have it on SportsCenter. They're talking about all of the sports that have been canceled. I truly did not believe that this would be the second week that the Constitutionals, the coronavirus, was going to come up on the Constitutionals. But as one can imagine, literally everything is being canceled. E3 was canceled. It was last week. It was postponed. It was like talk rumbling about it being canceled, but now it's being canceled. South by Southwest. In fact, let's just get into it. Canceling. Well, you know, hold on. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in the second half. Listen, I got some first half stuff to talk about. The show is done in halves. The good stuff always in the second half, or maybe it's in the back half. But yeah, stuff's being canceled all the time. Football been canceled. Football's not yet canceled. Basketball's been canceled. And the NCAA has been canceled. Jay Billis was just on SportsCenter, and he signed off with. And I just want to add one more thing. The NCAA, they call this men's basketball and women's basketball. They're not kids. We keep infantilizing them. They're going to understand that this has been canceled for a reason. I thought that was so funny. Yes, we know, Jay. We know they're adults. But they're still children, and they're allowed to. You're allowed to be sad about something. And they are children. They're younger than me, and I'm a young boy. I want to get into this really quick. Last week, Vice News Tonight relaunched over there on the Vice network. And it's not called Vice Land anymore. It's called Vice on TV or something like that. It relaunched. Also, it's very difficult to watch Vice Land or whatever it's called. You either have to have cable, but it has to be a part of your cable package. So it's on DirecTV. But DirecTV, you can't watch it. You can't watch it unless you have either the cable box or you go on the website, which no one wants to do. Also on the website, if you watch a show from Vice on TV online, it pauses the video if you leave the tab. Not just during commercial, it also does it during the show. So you can't just play it in the background. I do that with Conan all the time. I do it with what else do I watch when I'm supposed to be working? I work in TV. I can do whatever I want. I can't. I truly can't. So, Vice News Tonight relaunched on Vice on TV, and it is now an hour-long show. I think we've discussed it before, and it's hosted by, oh God, what is his name? Krishna. I was thinking of it today. But it's a slick looking show. It's the same show, except now imagine there are live elements. Oh Jesus. I just hit Vice News YouTube. Vice News Tonight. This would be great if I had another person on the show, but that'll never happen. Yeah, they're already 8 episodes in. Good for them. And I do want to say I do like this show a lot. I do like the show. But his name is... Oh my gosh. Oh, Dexter Thomas did like 70,000 stories for these people. I don't see. Oh God, just give me the Vice. Just give me the Vice. Vice on TV. This is embarrassing. I really should have had this pulled up, but I didn't. Just give me that. His name is Krishna Andavolu. He's a good host. I don't know how to say great host. He's a good host, but. I watched the first episode from last Wednesday, which was, I believe, the 5th. He's a nervous guy. I can tell he's nervous because it's live TV, but they have a giant standing desk, flat table for him, and it's a table big enough for panel, obviously. So like for panel means if people join them and talk, and he's standing at the table, and it comes up to right around his breast area, and his hand this doesn't come with the eye. It's like lower around his abs, and his hands are on the table every time he's talking to the camera. His hands are on the table as if he doesn't know what to do with them. And I think in order to remedy that, obviously it's going to take time for this guy to get used to talking to thousands of people. Who's watching Vice? Who's watching Vice on TV? I was a proponent for the channel, and then they started playing old episodes of Always Sunny. And if I wanted to watch Always Sunny, I would go to Hulu. But if I were the producers, in order to remedy this, and obviously they probably have done test shows, and they do test shows for every talk show, where these usually don't air, and it's usually just they get guests, they have stories, they treat it like a real show, but it's just a show that doesn't air, and they're just a test show. So I wonder if they tested him with a desk and without a desk. But there are portions of the episode, the first episode at least, where he's not behind the desk. And again, it's not like a desk like Seth Meyers' desk, or Conan, or when Conan had a desk, or Jimmy's desk, or Kimmel's desk. It's let's name them all, or Corden's desk, or Steven's desk. Okay, we're done. But it's a giant wood table. I wonder if they tested him without that, because. And like he kept having his hands in his pocket, maybe, and he kept over exaggerating with his hands, because that's what Hassan Minhaj does, and it's disconcerting. That show has not come back. It's been off for several months. But all in all, it's the same exact show. It just has live elements to it, and I guess that's all you can ask for. It's because I think Vice has a lot of utility. And I was talking with somebody about this. Vice has a lot of utility where they have good stories. And the way they breed people, so good. However, I believe that they talk way too much about weed, where I can't take them seriously. And about drugs, period. They talk way too much about drugs. I cannot take them seriously. And but they do produce things well. Even in live segments, and they had they had live correspondent stand-up segments, where there was a talk back. They were doing correspondents were talking back to what's his name? I forgot his name already. Condovalu. They were talking back to him, and it looks like a movie. It truly does. Like it's crazy what they do with the lighting and the cameras, and they're doing it live, that these people are talking back to him. But one of them had there are these things called IFBs, and reporters, they can plug them into like a wireless mic pack or their phone, which is now I think is the most popular thing. Is they plug the headpieces, earpieces, and microphones into their phones so that they can use an app to talk back to the producer, to hear the producers in their ear, and they have these little clear bugs and put them in there. But instead of a traditional pack, this one guy had one AirPod in, and it was so noticeable. And the delay with his responses it was just way too slow. And I thought that was the funniest thing. That is the most millennial thing, to have an AirPod. And then I thought, if that was me, I would have like a Power Beats. I have Power Beats Pros, the wireless Beats, the wireless Power Beats, and if I had one in, it just sticks out. That'd be so bad. Anyway, Vice News Tonight, great relaunch, good for them. Vice should not have a channel, and I was a proponent from the get-go that they should have a channel, but Vice should not have a channel on television. It is insane. Why does Vice have a channel on television? They had the money. This is when they were rich, when they were cash rich. They had the money. They bought History Channel 2, or History 2 channel. History's second channel. And then they made this channel called Viceland, and they launched with all these shows, Gaycation, the stand-up show and garages and stuff, and just all these different shows. And then it just got pared down to like 3 shows. They had that pizza show and a couple other shows, and then that's it. And Weedakit, the pizza show, Weedakit, and some cheap reality shows, and they canceled everything else. Whatever. And now they have nothing. This is why they should just be producers. And then they got devalued by Disney and a bunch of other companies. Like Disney, I think they're like $1 billion value company, and now they're worth like $300 million. It's something insanely small, because Disney wants money. I don't know. Anyways, let's move on. Reggie Fils-Aimé, who used to be not the president, but the American spokesperson for Nintendo. He's the former boss of Nintendo America. He joins GameStop. This comes from Polygon, written by Charlie Hall. Reggie Fils-Aimé joins GameStop's board of directors. So this is very interesting. This is a good move. This is an interesting move for him. Good move for GameStop. This doesn't. He's going to be part of the board of directors. It doesn't mean like he's in charge of anything, but it means he has a voice in the company and is able to shepherd them in a different direction. Now, GameStop has been redesigning some stores, and I believe in the test cities of Oklahoma City, I believe is where when I just started singing I Believe I Can Fly, and then I just get right back to the episode. I used to think when no, just kidding. But he's gonna be they're redesigning some stores, and it's the test stores now are able to. And I saw a picture a couple of weeks ago. It's a place where people can come and bring their board games or bring their PCs, bring their consoles, and just play with people. And then like the other third of the store is dedicated to actually selling video games. But they want to sell merch, and they want it to be a place where people come and hang out. The GameStop's here in Atlanta. I don't know if they have a deal with Walmart, but every Walmart has a GameStop near it. And I don't want to go to, that TV is so loud. I don't want to go to GameStop because I don't want to hang out in GameStop. First of all, I wouldn't do this ever, but I just wouldn't want to hang out in a GameStop. And then you're also around that Walmart traffic. Oh, God. Anyway, Reggie's joining. He retired from Nintendo. He's going to join this. He's also joined by William Bill Simon from Walmart. Speaking of Walmart, Cadbury, Schweppes, PepsiCo, and Nabisco. And James J.K. Szymanczyk from PetSmart, Academy Sports and Outdoors, Sam's Club. So those are all good companies. All successful companies. I don't know about Academy, but those are all successful companies. And they're all taking their seats immediately on the board. So this is going to maybe, he's going to be one of 10. They're all going to be one of 10 board members guiding the company through 2020 and beyond. So maybe we'll start seeing the effects of, maybe they'll start rolling out this new redesigned GameStop, and then also they'll talk about, just moving GameStop in a direction that can make physical sales and the stores rise up. Because I have nothing against GameStop. A lot of people on the internet, they're like, "Oh, GameStop, they're going to buy my game for $4 and sell it for $54 and blah blah blah." I mean, yeah, I get that, but I'm very dedicated to GameStop because when I was a broke, mid-20s boy. So very recently, I would trade in old games I had to GameStop, and they're probably one of the only 3 stores, other than a mom and pop DVD shop that'll take video games, and even if I went to CD Warehouse, which is a great store, and I love it. I love buying DVDs and movies and Blu-rays and TV shows and albums there and records there, but they're still going to give me $1 more than GameStop, if that. 50 cents more. So I don't crap on GameStop. I have no issues with them. Don't be so. I do have another story. Pete Buttigieg is going to host Jimmy Kimmel Live. I'm going to take that out, but he's hosting Jimmy Kimmel Live tonight, the night I'm recording this, for some reason, and I don't know why. I'll watch it tomorrow. who knows if there's going to actually, I don't think I got an email that said Jimmy Kimmel Live and James Corden are not going to have audiences, and neither are the New York late night shows. So Colbert, Fallon, and Myers. Sam B did not have one last night, and she just had her writers and her crew members in the audience, and it was a very funny episode because they wrote jokes that she hadn't seen. So she would deliver these very like this topic, and then there would be a punchline, and it would just be her laughing and trying not to break, and it was a great episode. And then I watched The Daily Show from last night with Mayor Bill de Blasio and Lil Dicky, and there was an audience in there, so maybe everyone's doing it. Conan's still gonna have an audience. I haven't seen anything about him, so. But Ellen's not, and they're on the same lot. I think they're right across the street from each other. They're really close. The buildings are really close to each other. Let's move on to the second half of this show because this is running long. We'll come back in a hot second. And welcome back to the show. See if we can do that in a manner that's not auspicious. Maybe if I edited this correctly. We'll see. I don't want to tell tales out of school, but hopefully by this time next week, when I'm recording this episode, the next episode of the show, by next week, I hope to have a different recording device, like a real recording device. I don't know. I'm not gonna. I don't know why I said that out loud, but I feel like I need to. Joy Behar is taking time off of The View in order to address the coronavirus. All right, let's move on. This next one comes from Variety, written by Brian Steinberg. You know what? I really don't care about this story. I just put it on there because I didn't think I was going to have something to talk about. Let's move on down to... Let's talk about when a movie is a movie, theater movie. This comes from The Hollywood Reporter. Boy, I really should have read this stuff. Work's been slow. We're getting a couple of new series in, and your boy is gonna have to watch them all. One show he's heard of and seen through at least 5 times, and the other not. So one show I'm gonna have to watch again for the 1,000th time. I'm not complaining because I do like the show. It's How I Met Your Mother. I get to watch it again. It's gonna be great. Who knows? It's not gonna be great. I'm gonna be burned out like I was burned out in the Westerns. What? This comes from Hollywood Reporter. Hollywood's New Dilemma. When is a movie worthy of movie theaters? Written by Mia Gallupo. Nearly every major studio soon will have its own streamer, but what separates the theatrical title from straight to digital remains elusive as producers complain that execs, quote, keep moving the target. So the word theatricality is being used at pitch meetings in such a conservative way, I guess is what she's getting at, that movies are now either being pitched as streaming movies or theater movies. And it makes sense, but when you have a vision as a director or a filmmaker, period, a writer, an actor, and you think your movie is going to play well in a world where there's only blockbusters, there's only Oscar bait movies, award season movies, festival season movies, then where do you lie? Where do you stand in that world of movies? It's got to be a movie. Here's a quote. It's all about it's about what audiences are actually going to pay $15 for. That's a quote from 2 years ago. Producers, reps, and execs are wondering what exactly makes a studio a streaming movie. Industry insiders told THR the companies and their streamers seem to be far from a clear collusion. There are many factors that go into the decision, but this is from veteran entertainment attorney Ken Zifrin. But I think the main one is that P&A for a theatrical feature and with a worldwide release would be at least $40 million more than a streaming film. Despite her star status, Melissa McCarthy's latest releases for New Line disappointed the box office. Life of the Party, which I saw in theaters by myself. I was truly the only person in there. Grossed $65. I should not touch my face because we have this corona thing. Grossed $65 million domestically on a $30 million budget and The Kitchen earned $12 million on a reported $38 million budget. It's something all studio executives are aware now. This is a very interesting piece that I skimmed. But I think, I mean, they do have, they're right. There are movies like Stargirl that's going to be on Disney Plus that, 10 years ago probably would have either A, not been made, or B, been released around this time. And then there's Mulan, which is getting released in theaters. Well, actually got pushed back, announced today. But it's getting released in theaters, whereas Lady and the Tramp, which is another remake, both remakes of classic Disney movies, did not. So where do you draw the line? It's something that's the one that's gonna make money. They mentioned the movie Noelle. I was just thinking about that from Disney Plus. I think that movie was already on hold for a little bit. There are movies that, like the New Mutants, Disney could easily put that on Hulu. Like it was rumored to a year ago when the deal finalized for the Fox assets. These. I mean, I don't know. This is tricky, and I might kind of side with the movie companies on this one, which was definitely the first time. But when in an age full of seemingly never-ending movies and TV shows that just keep getting made and made, Quibi's coming out in a month with 50 shows on day one, and movies on day one, and it's going to have 400 things by next year, and they're all 10 minutes long, quick bites. It's all interesting to see now that we live in this age of the golden era of television. I think about this all the time because it's when you sit down, like take a look at this. You sit down to deliberately watch an episode of Law and Order SVU. You got to go to Hulu. You got to watch it there. But Parasite came out in theaters, and I could be the person to rent it like I did, and it could be sitting in my Google Play Movies account. And I might have 4 more days to watch it because I rented it a month ago. or I could go to the theater because it's still playing at the Landmark Cinema, the theaters down the street, and I could go there and pay $11 to see it. But the reason it's in theaters, the reason it got released in theaters in the first place, is that it's going to there was a foresight by whoever put it out. Who put it? I don't know. Focus Features, no, that's Fox. Whoever put out Parasite by the distributor. They saw that it was going to be an Oscar-worthy movie. That's why it came out in the fall, and that's why it got nominated, and that's why they make the money. But you don't know that about, what was that movie with Kelsey Grammer and Kristen Bell? Kristen Bell, Kelsey Grammer movie. It was on Netflix, and it was called Like Father. Came out 2 years ago, bombed. Obviously, Netflix did not see. Well, yeah, let's take Netflix. Netflix did not see that movie was going to, make waves. But The Irishman, or the other movies they had, Roma, right? Yeah. So it's all very interesting. I'm trying to move on through this. Speaking of movies, this comes from Variety. Online screeners more trouble than DVD screeners. So, if you're in the academy, television or whatever, if you're in the academy, you get screeners. Screeners are DVDs or online links, but mostly DVDs that you get of TV shows and movies and music and stuff sent to your home, and it's a disc. You get to keep it forever, but you get it helps you. It's for your consideration. It helps you choose if you want to vote for that movie or TV show or song to be put into the Oscars, Emmys, or Golden Globes or whatever. Oscars, Emmys, excuse me. Not the Golden Globes. So, last year, screeners people were getting way too many of them. They're getting the same show, and they were coming in these giant boxes, like the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel one came in a big pink suitcase that no one has use for, and also it's a show on Amazon, so who needs screeners for that? And it's just taking up space and wasting plastic and then also destroying the environment. So too much stuff, destroying the environment. So people are saying, the companies are saying, we need to start going digital. However, no one would go digital because if you have a link, then you're most likely not going to watch it. But if you have a physical DVD, you're gonna see that thing sitting on your mantle. You're gonna go, I gotta watch Parasite. I have 4 days left, counting today, so maybe I'll watch it tomorrow. So, but nobody wanted to take the initial step because of that. Okay, so now this comes from Variety, written by Michael Schneider. The TV Academy's Emmy screener ban is here to help the planet, but not necessarily the wallet. So, once the theory was that companies, if they stop making, to make the DVDs, to make for the screeners, you have to go to a special company who will print the DVDs, and they'll make them the way you want them with the suitcases and all that stuff, and then they'll ship them out for you. And that costs a lot of money. But as we've learned, it's still costly to even do it digitally. This comes from one awards executive at a major outlet. A lot of them has not to be named. It's really costly. Oh, the XFL canceled their regular season. Wow. Gee, at Christmas. I think they're all still getting paid, right? I think that's what I heard. League is committed to playing full season in 2021 and future years. All players will be paid the base pay for 2020. Good. As for your consideration, as Emmy for your consideration season gets underway, the TV networks, studios, and streamers are putting finishing touches on their 2020 award campaigns. Anyway, it's cost money to host the servers and stuff. If you don't have your own streaming platform, like Netflix, like Amazon, like Hulu, and you're putting your shows up, it's going to cost money for you to make your own streaming thing, to put it up there, and to also host all that stuff. Like a typical campaign like this will cost around $1 million, and then it can go up from there. I think last year Netflix spent like 15 or something crazy stupid. Under the previous rules, networks and studios were required to pay the Academy fees of $200 per episode per peer group, which is currently at number 29, up to a flat rate of $2,000 per episode to include a show on a DVD screener. And you might as well, when you're nominating, a show, you might as well put the entire season on there. So, program category, and it just gets more costly from there. Categories cost $4,000, and then, you got $200 per episode. So you're putting in, a show that could be limited series or drama. Your actors are drama, whatever. And then you only get one chance to do this. One chance. Not throwing in my shot. Broadway got canceled. Okay. So, screeners are still expensive, even if you're doing them digitally. And listen, the coronavirus is affecting things. I told you I was going to get to this. I got a couple more minutes left. This comes from Vox, written by Eliza Barclay and Dylan Scott. This is a very interesting article. I'm not going to go over it too much. I just want to skim it. How canceled events and self-quarantine save lives in one chart. And it's a well-written piece, like I said. But the crux of it is they're showing a curve. And if we don't tackle it in a way that needs to be tackled, if we continue to allow, E3s and Comic-Cons and Coachellas, if we continue to allow that stuff, the mass gatherings, then the cases are just going to expand rapidly. But if we start canceling this stuff now, we'll be preemptive about it. The cases are going to level out, and hopefully they'll get treated. It's not going to be any faster, but those cases will level out. This isn't the one I wanted to look at, but also this comes from Vox, written by Alyssa Wilkinson. How the coronavirus outbreak is roiling the film and entertainment industries. So, a lot more postponements have happened. K-pop shows, including BTS shows, done. South by Southwest, Emerald City Comic-Con, Cannes Film Festival, Coachella, E3, NBA is done, NCAA is done, and then also movies have been postponed. Mulan, No Time to Die, Sonic the Hedgehog in China, Peter Rabbit 2 has been pushed back from its truly the best place to put it. It's Easter release to August. Quiet Place Part 2, which is not needed. Fast 9, which is slated to be released next year, is almost being pushed back a full calendar year to 2021. A bunch of other movies for China as well. TV show productions including Russian Doll, Morning Show, Riverdale, Amazing Race, and Survivor. Mission Impossible production delayed. Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune are not going to have any audiences. And then late night shows, of course, affected. Then Tom and Rita Wilson. I got that alert for Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson last night, right before I went to bed. And the New York Times just said, Tom Hanks and wife affected by coronavirus. And in my head, I was like, Rita Wilson? The famous Rita Wilson? Tom Hanks and the wife. Tom Hanks' wife. This is good. I mean, this is truly it's a crazy time for everybody. Even now, I just heard something on ESPN. Just somebody on ESPN screaming out something about coronavirus. They talk so loud on ESPN. This morning, when I got back from the gym, I turned on CBS This Morning. First, I ate my breakfast, and then I turned on CBS This Morning before I get in the shower, so I can watch the close-up segment, or whatever they start the show out with. And right when CBS This Morning came on, I saw Anthony DeCopo and the rest of the CBS This Morning gang. Gail was not there, and I saw them there, and they were standing in the Washington bureau of the CBS studios, and I went, "Oh my God, is that the Washington bureau?" And they moved from New York. Apparently, two people that they work with at the CBS network, CBS News offices in New York, had the coronavirus, and they mentioned it at the top, like, "Hey, we got to do a deep cleaning." Wonderful. Truly, this is. I wonder how the industry is going to bounce back from this, because if concerts can obviously be pushed back, you can always tour next year, but movies, this is, obviously people with real jobs, with corporate jobs and taking care of kids and the elderly and stuff, that's got to be handled. And the government wants to do tax breaks and all that stuff. However, I got stuff touching my face. However, when it comes to the entertainment industry, when things are planned out, like Peter Rabbit 2, released in April for Easter, the perfect time for it, being pushed back to August. Obviously, it's like they could hold it for a year. I just want to see it released on April. I think that's on Easter. I think that's a funny thing. I mean, this really affects the bottom line for these movies. And the reason why it's being pushed back is, I think it's mostly because of China. Like, wouldn't it? I just closed the article, but wouldn't it? Because that's where you make most of your money, is across season over to China, but also keeping people, sequestered, not sequestered, away from each other. People at the gym, they stand so close when they work out, and everybody's like always so close, and I always like branch off by myself because I don't want anybody near me because I'm doing like cleans and stuff. I've been ahead of the curve for years. I mean, yeah, I'm a single guy, but I've been ahead of the curve for years. But I really do wonder how this is going to affect the bottom line. Listen, if you like what you heard here, because these shows have to, before I hang up, these shows have to air. Survivor has to air. The Amazing Race has to air. Riverdale has to air. The rest of the Riverdale season is going to be in a school gym, and they're all going to be 6 feet from each other, as per the CDC. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head on over to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where we've got interviews with your favorite comedians. Today, the time that this episode posts, I'm posting a very late interview with Christian A. Pierce from the Real Bros of Simi Valley. A lot of things happened. And that's why this episode is going up late. No, that thing is going up late. Nice guy. Anyway, it was nothing about him. It was nothing about him. I just got pictures late, and then I also forgot about it for about 2 weeks. And it's a month old. So, if you want to see a video version of this podcast, head on over to youtube.com/peoplescomedy, where you can also see News Time, which is our premier news show, entertainment news show. It's like the Daily Show, except less funny. I take one topic, talk about it, make it fun in the entertainment industry. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram at C+ Comedy. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ChadBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Tell your friends to subscribe and listen. The show's great. All right. Bye.